I noticed that kind of imagination, creative side starts to really kick in.
Shower wisdom.
And we call it shower wisdom, but when we really looked at it, that's when Erica gets into that relaxed mode, when she's not focusing on actions that she needs to do when cortisol's high, she starts to drop in and starts to relax and gets into her body. That's where all the really great ideas come from, the creativity. And I guess that would be part of that prefrontal cortex, that part of the brain that can imagine and solve problems and all those kind of things.
Creative.
And it drops in during those times. And that's really where we started the Queen of Confidence, because I remember you were having a shower and you ran downstairs going, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to do this new business, right?
Yeah.
And that really set us on this journey. And so we can, I would say to her, you know, those shower moments, although that time to wind down is really imperative for us as humans, because it's where we give ourselves an opportunity to reflect.
Hola, hola! It's your girl Erica from America. Welcome to the Confidence Chronicles podcast. This podcast is all about helping you stand in who you are. Stop giving a fuck what people think about you. Start standing as your fully expressed self. As you are, queen, as is, there is no filter needed. You are fucking awesome. And I am here to remind you, I'm a confidence coach, a business mentor, a speaker, an author, and I am obsessed with women standing up, showing up, and creating their confidence. And I cannot wait to dig into today's episode with you. Hello and welcome to the podcast. We've got a special guest here today.
What up, everybody?
You haven't been on here for a while.
It's been a while.
What you been doing?
Well, you know, you've been doing your thing, doing all big things, having all these different people on your podcast. Nobody cares about me anymore.
Oh, I love you, honey.
There was a time when you used to beg me to be on this podcast, and now it's like,
oh, now he's begging me. Just kidding. We're super happy to have Hamish Cramer, my beautiful husband and business partner. This was something that I wanted to talk about a lot because I suck at this and Hamish is very good at this.
Yeah, I've worked on it more than you have.
You have, and I think it's your true nature much more than it is my true nature. So I wanted to share this episode with you guys because I think a lot of us who listen to this podcast are living very busy lives and are doing a lot. We are human doings and we're like out there in the world making it happen. Business, kids, life, all the things happening, work, relationships. And I had a beautiful listener, Rowan. Shout out to you, Rowan, who said, hi, I listen to your podcast and I would love a podcast episode talking about finding the time to be with yourself and tapping into your intuition while living a busy life when it's hard to find time. And Rowan said, for me, I do my best thinking when it's in the morning and I'm in my car parked with my coffee. But lately I've been working so much I haven't been able to do that. I just want to say that's not enough either. Like parked in your car with your coffee, that's your time for yourself. How do we make it where that's not on the way to work or on the way to doing something, right? So I'm happy that you've got some time for yourself, but let's make it, I'd love to talk about with you today how we don't make that a priority and how it's like, I'll have time with myself on my way to work or 5 minutes before I get in the house, right? So I wanted to do this podcast and talk about this with you. And I am going to say right now that I am not a masterful at this. The masterful expert that we just brought on is Hamish Cramer, okay? Hamish Cramer. That's what our son calls him, Hamish Cramer. It's not me. So I'm not telling you to do shit because I am still struggling and Hamish is helping me. And right now, this topic is really juicy for us in our house and in our family. So why do we struggle? Or better yet, tell us about the going inside and getting quiet. As Rowan said, like, it's a busy life. How do we make time for ourselves to tap into our inner intuition and give ourselves time when we're living this crazy ass busy life?
Look, I think it's more deeper than that. I really do think that it's not really a question about going deep inside. I think a lot of people truly don't want to go deep inside for fear of maybe what they may find in here. And look, through my practice and through the work that I do, I spoke about this with one of my clients. I spoke about that with a client in depth. And one of the things I think stops a lot of people from going in, and this may be unconscious in most cases,
Yeah.
I think is the fear of what they would find in there, or this kind of idea that if I do go in and if I do slow down, I won't be able to put myself back together again.
Mm.
And when you're thinking about being caught up in a busy life and being under pressure for time, it's often like, well, I don't have the time to really go in there and sit with what's present, right? Because it's going to take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of people are reluctant to go in, or if they do go in, it's very superficial. And I think because they're trying to be efficient with their time. So I'm going to efficiently go in, as in I'm going to get to the surface level.
Yeah.
But often I don't think we go in deep enough to really connect with anything deep. Because when you do connect with something deep within yourself, it often leads to a change of perspective and a change in behavior. And that's really what is required, because most of us will know that living this kind of hectic life is not good for us long term. It's not good. Keeping our body in a consistent state of stress is eventually going to impact us. And we know that literally 90% of illnesses are directly or indirectly correlated to stress. That's 90%. That's,
stressed out.
That's a lot of stuff. Heart problems, digestive problems, mental illnesses. Stress plays a role, and it might not be the only thing, but it is a major factor. And I think that's the aspect that needs to be addressed, is we don't actually want to go in, because that would mean getting off the treadmill for a moment and stopping, and it may require time inwards to sit and really navigate what's in there. So I think a lot of people are reluctant to do that for lack of time.
So true. I am nodding of recognition over here. So this definitely happens to me. And I think that I can think of one client in the sisterhood who spoke to us at retreat about keeping busy, and another client in the actual program who didn't come to retreat, who is constantly looking and trying to do something. And when you hear someone that's always busy doing something and can't stay still or won't slow down, right? You kind of have to ask, well, what are you keeping yourself busy for? And so what are you trying to escape, or what are you trying to not see or hear? Because when you're busy and you're booked out and you're running around and it's chaos, this is why COVID was so fucked up for people, right? It wasn't because of COVID. It was because you were trapped in your home with your thoughts, with the people that trigger you, your family, and like with food and with television and with alcohol. And most people, that was an opportunity. Wouldn't you agree, for us to like,
well, it was a disruption, right? Of our habits. It was a disruption of our patterns. I what is the saying? Like, you'll get to the age of 35 and 99 or 95% of the way you think, of the way you feel, and the way you act is on automation. It's automatic.
Autopilot,
You're an autopilot. So I think many of us fall into that trap of just doing the same thing over and over again, thinking that it's getting us into a different location or getting us to a new place, but really not enough awareness or on why we're doing what we're doing. So I think we kind of, and like you said, COVID was a big disruption to our patterns. And maybe for the first time, because of that disruption, you were seeing, I don't like the job that I'm doing, or I don't like this partner that I'm with, or I don't like the house that I live in, or I don't like the location. Because up until that moment, your awareness was very closed off, and it was just you were on automation. And now there's this awareness that kicks in going, because what happens is especially with the brain, when it realizes that a pattern or a habit has been broken, our awareness actually really kicks in. It's almost a survival instinct, because it's almost a danger response, because it's realizing, hey, what we thought was comfortable, what we thought was familiar is now different. And now the body's in this hyper vigilance, and it's looking around and looking at the things and going, oh my gosh, everything's changed now. What's going on? What's the danger? And I think in that moment, many people would have gone, hang on, this sucks. This
Yeah.
life is shit. And you know,
The veil comes off.
it does.
Yeah.
And for some people that may have been the inspiration to make some major changes in their life. And maybe for others, it caused them to retreat even further.
Yeah, well, it's true. It's a bit confronting, I think. And we talk a lot on the podcast about why we don't do the work and how scared we are to go back there, air quotes. And we can't go back there. And it's like there's no going back anywhere. You already did it. So if we don't attack and go forward into these things that we've experienced, you don't get to claim the benefits and the lessons. And then also you end up repeating it because you didn't understand it. So you go again and it keeps happening. And these are the patterns that for years it feels like I can't break it, but I've got this pattern with my health, and it's not that I can't break it, it's that I haven't actually tackled it properly. I've done pieces and then moved away. And so I think the personal development journey gets the same. And so one of the things that I personally am going through, and I like to share with you all what I'm going through, is I've kind of woken up to the fact that I really need to slow down and I need to look after my internal health. Shut up, Hamish. Fuck you.
Have we done like 9 podcasts on this already?
Nope, we have not done. This is a new podcast. I'm a new person.
If we go through
it's been a lesson. I've got a lot of podcasts about how I need to rest and blah blah blah. And I think it's a lesson that slowly has been tapping at my door. And this year, when I turned 40, I think that my midlife, like, it's not midlife, but like 40. Shut up. My 40 midlife crisis of health. This 40-year-old me is like, hold on a minute. You know, I think that I feel more tired. I think that I want to spend more time with my children. I want to sit and watch fucking Bluey with Nava, who constantly sits there and goes, can you just sit with me? And we've had our business for a while. We've been doing our thing. I'm great at hustling. Hamish knows I will make shit happen out of nothing and I will go ham. And I've got this competitive spirit. However, and I've never been a quiet, calm, inward nature kind of person. I've always been like a go, 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 fast, fast, crazy person. And now I'm kind of like, oh, I need a little bit of the inward vibes. And it's hilarious that I married my husband, who is like the shamanic breath work, meditation, calm. He just did a meditation before, spent that time doing that. And I was, who the fuck knows, I was on a podcast. I
can still hear that, babe, where are you, babe? I'm like, fuck this.
I don't have an Australian accent.
Is he really screaming at me while I'm trying to meditate?
He was doing a meditation. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Go in and release
fuck your wife
the
off.
distractions.
So he does it. He's good at it. And now I'm kind of like, I'm always, and we talked about this because I'm doing like this inward detox. I'll share about why on another podcast. Parasites. I'm going to talk about it. We need to talk about that. Anyway, it's going to be a funny podcast. Worms in your culo. Anyway, so so I got into this whole like, whoa, internal health. I need to really look at this, whatever. And then we found this rabbit hole, and Hamish knows this because he was a personal trainer and had a gym for over 10 years. So Hamish always knew this. So the information was very close to me. I just wasn't listening to it.
Isn't
okay. So anyway.
So you should listen to your husband more. Is that right? Can I just get you to repeat that into the microphone just so we have it?
My husband is usually always right.
Usually always right?
Most of the time.
Hamish is always
right. Shut up. Shut up, Hamish.
Shut up.
Shut up, buddy. Shut up. But he's always right. Anyway. Shout out to our Sri Lankans listening to the podcast.
I'll get that.
Sri Lankans. So Hamish and I were like chatting, and we found this stuff around cortisol. And obviously I'm 40, and if you're over 35 years old, you're going to get into perimenopause. Women, and we don't know anything about it. We did that episode with Dr. Kirsty
really good episode.
Holland, and it was one of our most popular episodes. She is a special medicine woman around all things women's health and hormones and wellness and menopause and perimenopause. She's a fucking genius, right? So we talked about that. I'm working with her. I love her to death. And the idea came up of cortisol. And I went to Gwingana last year, this time last year, and I realized I learned a lot about cortisol and how when you wake up, the blue light, and when you go to sleep, the phone, all that stuff. And if you don't know about it, there's so much about that. But what I basically recently heard was like, my issue with my body for me has always been like my stomach, right? And it's like, oh, it's a mummy tummy because I had 2 kids. I don't get really fat anywhere else in my body, but that area for me keeps being affected. And so I'm like, what is this? What is this? And then we looked at cortisol and how cortisol is really sorry, some fuzz on your there we go. How cortisol is the thing that stores fat and it stores it there in your belly.
Mm-hmm.
So belly fat, waistline, all that.
And it's different to other fat in the body.
It's different to other fat. And so we went on this rabbit hole of like cortisol and what cortisol is and the survival thing that we need and how we needed cortisol back in the day when we were being chased by lions and bears and tigers and shit.
Yeah.
And how good it is, survival. So if you're watching this or you're listening to this and you're like, I don't know about cortisol, if you had any childhood adverse experiences, if you had any trauma, if you had any abuse of any kind, trust me, you have survival mode kicked in. And so survival mode kicks in all the time for when I'm running my business, when I'm doing anything exciting. I'm like, I'll just go into like burnout mode, action mode, and I'll do, and I'll be on my laptop till midnight, and then I'll wake up at 6 a.m. and I'll go to the gym, and I'm just like, it's fucking full on. And what happens, she says, when you hit a difficulty in your life or you get into strife or something bad happens, cortisol spikes and we're just sitting. We're just sitting in the meeting, pissed off. We're just sitting watching TV and the news is giving us all the bad news. We're just sitting on...
Or you watch a really horrible movie.
How
many times you watch a movie,
fuck.
remember?
And you feel like crazy.
And you're like, oh my God.
And you're just sitting. So your cortisol... And
then you go to bed.
Yeah, you go to bed. And your cortisol's spiking and storing fat. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. So she was like, if you get stressed out during the day, move. And I'm like, I will be jump roping all fucking day. I'd be like, 1 second, I just need a jump rope. Because your body needs to move the cortisol because it's flight or fright. It's like, oh no, there's a danger, go. So this brought us to this whole rabbit hole about how I'm like, am I in high cortisol? All the time.
Yeah.
And Hamish said to me, because you don't slow down. Can you talk about the shower thing that you realized for me and before I go to bed when it's calm and how I get... Yeah.
Well, I guess leading on from what Eric is talking about with cortisol, obviously, it gets a bad name, cortisol, because it is a stress hormone.
Yeah.
But we need cortisol in the morning. It wakes us up.
Yeah.
Right. And if we were to look at a graph, your cortisol would spike in the morning. It would rise gently. It would maybe peak towards the mid part of the day or later part in the day, and it would slowly draw down.
For nighttime, so you can go to bed.
For nighttime. So there's less cortisol at night. Obviously, your body's moving into that rest and digest mode. So that as you cruise towards your bedtime,
melatonin,
you fall into sleep. Melatonin levels rise and you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Right. And if you think about it, our body follows nature very closely. We are part of nature. And often when we get out of sync with those rhythms, there is chaos in our lives. So the sympathetic nervous system needs the cortisol in the morning to get the brain going and to get you active and alert. Great. Perfect. And that's where you're doing, and you're active and you're working and all the wonderful things that we do in life, right? And it's important and it's necessary, right? We can't just sit and meditate on a mountain for our entire lives. That's not going to work. So that's that yin, right? It's that beautiful part where we're active and we're doing things. Cortisol is there and we make shit happen. We take action. But then the later part of the day, we need to start winding down. And what happens is the brain moves from that sympathetic nature into the parasympathetic, which is that rest and digest.
Hopefully,
if we follow things. And you notice the sun goes up and the sun goes down, it's for that reason. And you'll see it if you look into the research about the light, as that light dissipates, it actually causes melatonin to rise in the body so that you can go to sleep. So everything in the nature is set up for us to be optimal. It's just that we've created,
iPhones,
lighting, televisions, and that interferes, right? So we wind down. And so this is why this is really important, because as Erica winds down she becomes quiet, and for her, though, the thing that what really helps her get into that parasympathetic state is really, having a shower. And if you see our water bill, you'll see why. And the steam
hottest
that
shower
comes out
ever.
of that shower is another.
So bad.
That's probably a whole nother
mold
podcast.
issue.
But what happens is, as she allows herself to relax and go into the parasympathetic, I noticed that kind of imagination, creative side starts to really kick in.
Shower wisdom.
And we call it shower wisdom, but when we really looked at it, that's when Erica gets into that relaxed mode, when she's not focusing on actions that she needs to do and cortisol's high, she starts to drop in and starts to relax and gets into her body. That's where all the really great ideas come from, the creativity. And I guess that would be part of that prefrontal cortex, that part of the brain that can imagine and solve problems and all those kind of things.
Creative.
And it drops in during those times. And that's really where we started the Queen of Confidence, because I remember you were having a shower and you ran downstairs going, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to do this new business, right?
Yeah.
And that really set us on this journey. And so we can, I would say to her, you know, those shower moments, although that time to wind down is really imperative for us as humans, because it's where we give ourselves an opportunity to reflect.
Yeah.
And as we talked about in the first part of the podcast, many of us are on this autopilot mode run by stress,
Hamster
right?
wheel,
So we're constantly in the sympathetic mode. We're constantly doing, which is fine, but we lose the connection to why we're doing what we're doing, what's the purpose of it, and where are we going. That is reserved for that sympathetic, parasympathetic, reflective mind. Right. So if we're doing this on a day-to-day basis, we're taking action, we're doing stuff in our lives, in our world. And then when we come to the later part of the day, we're reflecting, we're contemplating, we're getting feedback about our day, we're thinking about how things could be different and how we could solve some of the problems from different perspectives. That then fuels the action into the next day. That then gets us up in the morning going, oh, I had that insight. These are the actions I need to be taking, or this is the area that I need to be going. If we avoid that part of us, if we avoid that opportunity to slow down and to go within, then we're a hamster on a wheel. We're just go, 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 go. And I've heard it from many of my clients. I've been going for 10 years and I don't like where I've ended up. Or I don't know how I got here. And I think it's because of that inability or that unwillingness to stop and slow down and to drop in. And we live in a culture, right? We live in a hustle culture where we want to get more, we want to do more. Like we love YouTube and it's all about productivity. And I think that may appeal to a certain demographic, right?
Or even a season.
Or even definitely even a season,
life,
right?
Like beginning season.
And we don't want to put down that particular type of season, especially if you're in it. Yes, there is a period of your life where it is all work, where it is just work and you've got to hustle because you've got to build and you've got to build your skills and you got to build your finances or whatever it is. There is that period. But like I said before, if we're constantly in that state of stress or constantly in that state of hustle, then, you know, we're only going to lead ourselves down a track of poor health. And not optimization of our thinking and not optimization of what we want to do in life, right? So definitely there is a season for that, but it's not a lifestyle to be following. And I think we've got to a stage in our lives where we really, because we have kids, because we have businesses, that we need to make sure that we balance out those types of functioning in order to go the distance, because life is a marathon in some respects. So so I think that's a really important thing that many of us don't make time and attention for.
And I think what Hamish was saying to me, and like 2 days ago, he was like, how do we find more of the shower without you being in the shower all day and wasting water and being, you know, in the shower for 4 hours? But he was basically saying to me, like, you see, when you're in the shower, you see right before bed, because for me, right before bed, I'm like, all the magical ideas. And I'm like, shit, I got a journal. Like all my quotes come before bed. It's when I like take my children in and I talk about it a lot on the podcast. When I like touch my kids' feet and my husband, and I'm like, I love them, and I really like.
You touch me when I'm asleep?
Yeah, I touch you when you're asleep. Oh, wow. It's weird, but I do. I squeeze your butt cheeks.
What the?
Anyway, so I'm like loving my family and having moments of gratitude, and then all my thoughts and ideas. Why? Because everybody's asleep, nothing's going on. I have a moment to think, and so Hamish was like, "Babe, you really got to find." And this is for you. Thank you, Rowan, for the question. We really have to find moments where we can do this. And I say find because you have to create them. They're not going to be there. It's never going to be a perfect time to join the sisterhood. It's never going to be a perfect time to start your business. There's never going to be a perfect time to go on a retreat. Like there's no perfect time. And what we usually do is we wait until we get cancer. We wait until we get fucking parasites. We wait until we get sick. We wait until someone dies and we go to a funeral and we realize, oh shit, like we all wait. And I'm like, why are we waiting? So here's the invitation. Like, how do we find these pockets? Like, one of the things that we were in a business program and our mentor said to us, every year in your calendar, book out your personal family time before you book your sisterhood full day event, your creating confidence event, your retreats, Because I'm like, retreat's going to be this date. Hamish and I are going to do that. But we don't book out our date nights first.
Yeah.
We weren't booking out our family holidays.
Yeah.
And so our mentor was like, book that first. So one of the things, tangible things you could do right now is have a look at your week, have a look at your calendar. What time can you book for yourself? And Rowan, you said you're going on the way to work, 5 minutes in the car for coffee. That's on the way to work. Can you wake up a little earlier and sit with yourself in your living room without rushing in traffic or without being in your car uncomfortable? Can you be home? Can you do it at the end of the night? Can you do how do we find these pockets? And so I have fought meditation forever. I have fought slowing down forever. I feel like, if I'm honest, this is my personal thing. If I slow down, I'm not going to get to where I want to get to. If I stop and slow down, I'm going to go backwards. If I stop and slow down, I won't be successful. I won't make the money. I won't hit my impact. So it's, for me, slowing down equals slowing down everything. Right? That's if I'm honest, that's what I think about. However, the opposite is true. When you dare to do the opposite, I went away to Ghana for 7 days and I came back and my business didn't die. It was better without me. I completely learned about how addicted my hand was sewn to my phone and how I could unsew it and actually be present. It was completely transforming. When people come to retreat, it transforms their lives, and they have 5 days of no phone, no family, in a place that they don't know. So it's actually the opposite. The question is, how do you get more inside? Because even the work in the sisterhood, wouldn't you say, is very mind.
You've just brought up a really good point, I think, and it's what we've actually been doing a lot in the business of late. Because the other side of me, for those that don't know, I'm a very inward person, but I'm also a very operations step-by-step based strategic person, right? And I guess that comes from that I'm a very reflective and contemplative person. So I sit there most of the time and I like to look at things from a bigger picture or from different angles, and I make changes based on that. I think that's just how my brain works. And so, talking to the point of being in cortisol and doing a lot, I think what many of us don't take the time to do, because we go, okay, Erica, you're telling me make more time for myself. And so what we do is we don't look at our lives. We just try to carve out that time. It becomes something that's not sustainable. It becomes something that's too hard. And we might do it for a couple of weeks or for a month, like a task.
Yeah.
And what happens is eventually something will come up at work, something will come up with our family or friends. And like beautiful podcast request Rowan has said, I lose it. Then I lose the momentum, and then I don't get my coffee in the morning. I don't sit in front, and so then that's out of whack. And I think what it requires, and what we've been doing in the business and in your life, has been taking that step back, as in being that parasympathetic and more reflective and contemplative mode, and taking a moment and look at what we're doing.
Yeah.
Like
zooming
out of our lives.
Yeah.
And realizing, hey, hang on a minute, the way we're doing that task is really inefficient. We're taking too many steps.
Yeah, you're so right. You're so right. I mean?
Like,
I know what you're saying. Like if we use Rowan, for example, like the way that you're driving to work, and the time you wake up and what you do when you first get up, like, is all of that optimal?
Totally.
Could you do that differently? Why do you even do that? Is there a better way? Like, that's what you're saying, like zoom out.
Exactly. And with the kids, right? We used to come home from the kids, we're kind of exhausted. And what we ended up doing was coming home from work, and then at 3-4 o'clock we pick them up. We go, boys, go watch some TV. And what me and Erica would end up do is continue to work. Right, we're continuing to work till 4, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Right, then they come over to us and go, Mummy, Daddy, I'm hungry. Then we're like, shit, we got to get dinner on. So then you're rushing to do dinner. I'm like, yes, that's right. Let me help you. I'll finish off work. Then I'm like, okay, boys, get up. Let's get into the showers. Let's get ready. It's chaos.
Yeah.
It's chaos, right? Then what ends up happening is we don't get ourselves organized and sorted, and the kids are not going to bed till 8:30, 9 o'clock.
That was a hot mess when we were doing
Remember that?
That was a hot mess.
Then they're getting up in the mornings. They're slow, obviously. They're tired. They were like, come on, let's get up, because we're all exhausted. We're going to bed at now 11, 12 o'clock at night. We're getting up. We're tired in the morning. We're not running optimally. The morning becomes a rush because we want to sleep in. Then we're trying to make their lunches. We're rushing them to school. They're like,
the whole thing is like
the whole
fucking nervous system.
Exactly.
Like our nervous system. Like if you're living a life with kids and you're like, this sounds like, oh my God, that's my life. just take a moment to consider your nervous system and then their nervous system. And think about how much cortisol and stress. Yep. It's like you're escaping the fucking tigers and jungles in the morning. And like,
totally. And it's horrible environment for children to grow up in. It's a horrible environment for us as parents to be in because we're not present, we're not focused, we're just like, go, right? And so we took a moment to take a step back, and I said to Erica, listen, there is no reason for us to be coming home and doing work once we pick the kids up, right? Listen, there may be times when it happens, right? There may be times when that will happen for us and emergencies will arise. Yeah. Sure. Okay, we can be flexible.
But it can't be emergency.
But it can't be emergency. Exactly. It can't be emergency. I said to her, if we look at our lives, if we get home once we pick up the kids at 4:00, we can spend some time with them. We can go, hey kids, watch some TV. Let's sit with them for half an hour. Then you and me get up at 4:30 and we start preparing dinner.
You act like you cook dinner, motherfucker. Shut the fuck
up. I clean.
Listen.
Okay, get in the kitchen, woman.
Erica's right. I don't cook dinner. Can you say it?
She's right. I do not cook dinner. I am crap. She's a great cook.
Thank you.
She makes our food with a lot of love. She's amazing. But it does require some prepping and helping. So
You do clean.
I'm like the kitchen bitch in the back trying to clean up her mess.
Kitchen bitch.
All right. But the point I'm trying to make is we started dinner early.
Yeah.
We said to the boys, listen, TV has to go off by
6:00.
By 6:00 because then they've got time to do their reading, any of their homework, get prepared for the next morning. We pack their bag. Like
they're sleeping by 7:30.
And they're in bed by 7:30. We've had dinner. We've done their reading and their homework with them. And then we're 7:30, 8:00 they're in bed. We might watch some TV. We have some time to wind down and relax. And then we're in bed by 10:30, right?
Yeah.
We get up at then 6:30, 7:00 because we feel rested. And the whole day is so much better. So
that's a machine.
It's a machine.
That's a system.
It's a system, right? And like a business is a system, a family household is also a system. And so and an individual is a system.
100%.
So I'm saying you can't implement new things into your life, especially like time for yourself and opportunities to go in, if you haven't reviewed the system of your life.
Totally.
Because eventually you will fail.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the system is against you. As you can see with our lives, the system was against us. Yeah. Eventually we're going to go back. But if we make a promise to ourselves and a commitment to be like, no work once we get home.
Yeah.
That shifted everything for us. The whole thing now works better.
Well, if I could tell you behind the scenes and just briefly, like we saw that in our team, there were systems that weren't working. We saw that the people that we had on our team needed some more direction and that we needed more help. So if we're working at home, it means that something's not done, which means that we're not communicating what we need to the people that are on our team. So that just changed everything for us. So I love what you just shared there because really it's like before we change things, what are we currently doing?
Totally.
Right? So what actually is happening right now? What are we currently doing? Have a look at it. Try to look at it like with no emotion. And we'll use Rowan as well. Rowan, look at your schedule. What are you doing? How's your life? Who's in your calendar? What's taking the time in your calendar? Because y'all be like, I don't have any time. And I'm like, you fucking watched the football for 2 hours or you're watching TikTok. If you look at how much you spend on TikTok, we have time. Okay.
Or distractions. And what was the stat? Every interruption is if you're focusing on a particular task and someone interrupts you, it takes you 23 minutes to come back to the flow of that task on average, right?
Yeah, because you get distracted.
So think about how many distractions there are for you. And we noticed that with you.
Yeah.
A lot of people
messaging texting,
and 100%. You're responding.
And then they're like, there's another stat that's like if your phone is in eyes view, if your phone is in your view when you're doing something, you lose like 30% of your IQ. Like your 30% of your IQ drops. Like there's so much. So here's the thing. We're not going to change the world. We're not going to change AI. We're not going to change technology. I love it. I'm so happy that I can call my mom who lives in America via FaceTime and she can see my kids. Yeah. I'm so happy that WhatsApp, I can message whoever I want. I'm so happy that my clients and my listeners and my followers and my amazing community can message me on Instagram and I can send a voicemail. Like how amazing is the technology? So it's not about like not loving what's going on we're in the best time of our lives right now with technology. The problem is the user error. So if we can get better at going first thing in the morning, I'm not checking my phone. By this time at night, I'm done with that. Like my kids, 6:00, when we did that, it changed the fucking game.
It really
and
did.
Video games, they don't have iPads. They don't use YouTube for kids because I think that shit's the devil. It is so bad, the shit that's in there. And you don't know as a parent what they're watching. That's a whole other podcast, but it is fucking terrible. Like, holy shit. So We took that. That's gone. They have a Nintendo Switch, which on the weekend they can only play. And Hamish is now making them do chores for time of play. Like, it's amazing. So we saw how our kids look different. I see when me and Hamish aren't working every single night, or we're not bogged down by tasks and shit, how we are happier. I see how he's happier. When we're eating better food and we're moving our bodies, and he does a meditation or breath work, or I can have a 4-hour shower, like, like we spend time with friends and we're happier. Like, these are the things that are important. So number one, tangible shit as we wrap this up. What are you currently doing? What are you currently doing? Look at your current calendar, your current schedule. What's happening? And is that the best way to operate for you? Is that the best way to operate for your well-being? Is that the best way to operate for your for you to be optimal? And if you have a family, is that the best way to operate for your family? And I mean this. A lot of Hamish's clients, you know, they come home from work 6 p.m. They do physical labor, the men, trades, and the wife's been home with the kids, and the kids get thrown at the husband. The husband's not even there because he's just left physical labor, and it just goes into a fucking autopilot. There's no sex. There's no communication. There's no unwinding.
And how would you have sex, right? Like, if you think about these couples, and we've done a lot of power couples
robotic
work
as
with
fuck.
A telltale sign usually is that there is no sex in the marriage. And there's you think about that, right? Because there's no time for intimacy. There's no time for connection. And if there's resentment that builds up over time, and it usually does, then that resentment never gets cleared. It only builds up, right? And so that the opportunity for connection withers away even further. So you've got this stressful system, stressful lifestyle that you run. The opportunity for connection and unity and sex and sexual connection is non-existent, because for one thing, your body is in total stress.
Survival.
So that's you don't have sex when you're in survival. You need to be in the parasympathetic nervous system. You need to be in the emotional state. You need to be on the inward. So good luck having a connection with your partner if you're struggling to go inwards as it is. So it's set up for failure here, right? And then what happens over time if there's no connection and unity and intimacy with a couple? It only leads to the breakdown of that relationship.
It'll erode, 100%.
Right? So we've got the whole thing back to front. Really.
And then if we think about what I was looking at when I was changing my diet and working on my health, is like, we eat so much shit. We eat so much processed shit in a bag, chips, fucking bad food, fast food. Food is delivered to our door. We don't even have to work for it. You can order that shit on an app. Like, the food that we're eating is gloggy, like pastas and carbs and sugar heavy, and you know, and the inside of our body is not good, and then we have no energy. And then on top of that, we're trying to be better and develop ourselves. We're struggling at work. There's stress. We're not saying what we want to say because we lack confidence and we care what people think about us. The connection is missing with self. The connection is missing with family. The connection is missing. And then it's like this, then you're watching television, and then you're 24/7 fucking on your phone.
And you're stressed.
It's wild. So the whole thing is a fucking hot mess, right? So what we're saying, the good news is, look at your life. Yeah, you could change it. That's the good news of this podcast. That's about it.
But you have to start by looking at it.
Look at your life. So number one is have a look at how you're running.
You have to bring awareness to it.
Have a look at how you're running.
Can't change something you're not aware of.
Exactly. And I think that we talk a lot about this in a retreat and even in our sisterhood program, is like, now that you know there's a problem, okay, what do I need to do to change it? Hold on a minute. How is there a problem? Why is there a problem? Where does the problem come from? Get to really understand it before you go, all right, tomorrow I'm changing it. It's like, no, like, you just realize that what you're doing, maybe you got some awareness right now that what you're doing is not so supporting you and serving you. Have a look at the whole thing. How could you reverse engineer some time for you? And time for you could be, you're going for a walk. You might like a moving meditation. You might like to walk. You might like to garden, right? Like, gardening is really good for your mental health. You might like to go to the gym, and that's your time for you, or do yoga. Like, it's not like sit at home and meditate.
No,
like,
and I think what you might want to do, if I was going to look at an approach to this, so maybe this podcast you're listening to, it may start to bring up some awareness to where things are wrong for you, right? And like Erica said, you may become overwhelmed because you may see many areas of your life that are not working for you, or are not, are causing this stress, or the system is broken. And then this is my PT brain comes into it. Tackle some of the smaller ones first. Tackle, because you might find 10 areas that need work, and maybe there's some big ones there, some boulders, and maybe there's some small little pebbles, right? And if we want to go on this journey of changing our lifestyle or changing our life, it's much easier to get the small wins quicker or at the start. That'll help us look at the bigger things later on, right? The bigger things might be maybe you need to change your job, or maybe you need to change your relationship, maybe you need to change where you live. Well, there are big things that there'll be many steps and may take time.
Yeah.
But there may be smaller things like what we did with our lifestyle. We looked at making a boundary of not working once we got back home, right? It was an easy win. It was a simple step, right? But it started this trajectory of us being more present at home, reducing the stress, being more organized in the morning.
Fuck,
and
so
that
organized.
that compounds over the week to be a much more enjoyable, funner week, a much more enjoyable, fun
And we have more
weekend.
energy.
And
We have more energy.
So now we have more energy to maybe tackle some of the big things. So consider that your approach. Don't be like so overwhelmed that you're like, fuck, I can never change I have to change my entire life. Start with the small things and the easy wins and work your way up from there.
I love that. So tangibly, have a look at your things. Choose a few simple things that you can actually do so that you can connect and have some time with yourself. I think that obviously there's meditation apps, there's breathwork apps, there's, if you're in the sisterhood, Hamish has a whole meditation program in there. You know this. There's breathwork videos in the content gallery. Like, that's not so much, that's like the icing, right? The tips and the tricks. We have a lot of tips and tricks. There's a lot of information out there on how you can meditate and do breath work and ice plunges and all that jazz. To be honest, we won't do it if we haven't realized what's stopping us from doing it.
Yeah.
We want you to find some time where you can actually be with self. And if it starts with you have a shower that your phone doesn't go in there and your kids aren't in there and you're alone, then you can start to think and see how calm and relaxed you feel. Or you go away. I had a girlfriend of mine recently. I said, go away by yourself for 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, no phone. Put the phone on airplane. Tell people where you are. But put your phone on airplane. Go away. Bring a journal. Go somewhere beautiful. And be with yourself for 2 days. Get some clarity. See what comes. She doesn't have children. She was able to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
And I just know these 2 days for her are going to open up so much because she pushed pause on the fucking hamster wheel.
Yeah.
She pushed pause on the notifications and then asking questions and I need this from you and I need that from you. And if you work, we suck at boundaries at work. Most of us take our work home.
Totally.
Our boss is over asking because we're overdoing. And so these are the things, if you're listening to this podcast for somehow you got drawn to this one, there's an invitation here for you to find a way to have a look at what you're doing and choose to slow it down so you can make time for yourself to go inward and see, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Should you keep doing that? What do you really want? Who the fuck are you? Why are you here? Is this working? Like, it's like a zoomed out approach. And when you zoom out, oh my God, we did that training with the sisterhood, that 10-year plan.
Yeah.
We did this 10-year plan with them and it was incredible because people got to see how day to day they were living and they went, whoa, actually in 10 years, I could, in 5 years, in 3 years.
And that's really, in honesty, that's the best part of the sisterhood, right?
Yeah.
That's what I love about it so much. We have our immersion days and we have these,
The
live events, and it really is. Every woman has said to us, we're almost forcing them that opportunity to stop and look at their lives, right?
Like, 8 hours to stop and work on you.
Look at their thoughts.
Yeah.
Look at their emotions. Look at their relationships. I mean, it's not easy, but how often, like we often say at those events, how often do you create that time? And that's what I love about the sisterhood program is like we force these ladies. You have to show up and
when you sign up,
these time.
You have to be there.
And so much comes out of those days, and so many ladies say, "Look, I wasn't going to come today because I had 50 things to do." But now I'm glad I came because now I have clarity on this particular area.
Exactly.
So I do love that about our program because it really does force you to confront some of these things. Yeah.
So do it yourself or join us and we can force you to do it. Just kidding. But it's true. It's so true. Like, when do we make 8 hours for ourselves? When do we give ourselves 1 hour? How many women I speak to on Instagram and you with your clients that are like, I just don't have any time. And I'm like, whoa.
Man,
if you've been saying that, go find out where your time is going. So every day, you know how we keep food journals? Keep a time journal. What did I do today? I was on Instagram for an hour. Cool, no shame. What did I do then? I had a phone call with someone who wanted to pick my brain for 2 hours. Okay, cool. I did this with my mom and I was at my mom's house for 5 hours. What are you doing with your time? Have a look at this, because if you don't have a look at it, you're never going to be able to find the time for yourself to do what you need for you, when that means going inside, whether that means journaling. Like, on your way to work with a coffee is not good enough. That's still, you're rushing this through. And I want to be clear, the shower wisdom and the time off, is not for you to be more productive. So don't do it to get more ideas. Do it because you need to stop and rest the machine and the mind and really slow it all down so that you can take a breath. And by doing that, on a default, you will get some open clarity.
Totally.
So don't do it for that, because then everything we do is productive. It's like, you don't have to always be productive.
Yeah.
You know? Like you get to fucking chill. So I hope that answers your question, Rowan. And for anyone who's listening to this podcast and is like, I'm a psycho, I'm a crazy, fast, crazy person, but it's not going to serve me in the long term because I'm going to go into my reserve of survival mode because I know how to do that shit because my whole life was about survival mode. And if you've had any kind of trauma or bullying or any kind of shit that happened to you, and most of us have, you know how to go into survival mode. And that is almost programmed for us so easily that we have to try really hard, as Joe Dispenza says, to break the habit of being yourself. Break that habit. You can't go back to what you know. It's like, ooh, that's not serving me. What else can I do? So I hope that helped you, because Mr. Cramer over here is my go-to Zen yin.
Yep.
You just always remind me, and yoga really helps me. That if you're looking for something tangible, yoga is really good for me because it's like a moving meditation. Yeah, we're gonna talk again to you because I really want you to talk about spirit and shamanic work. Yeah. And I think that the way we work together, for those of us that work with us, you know that I bring a lot of the mind and the thinking and the fast and the all that up here. And Hamish is really in the program and how we work, even at our retreats. Hamish is really like, turn the mind off, shut up, go into the body. So he like locks you out of your head and puts you into your body, where all of the stuff comes, like your somatic work, the body remembers, right? The body keeps score, like all the trauma, all the emotions, like all the shit that's trapped is not up here. And this is why we work so well together, because you really help people access that inside from themselves and deeply connect with themselves.
Yeah, one of our mentors once said to us, the longest journey you'll ever go on is the journey from your head to your heart. And it's kind of that idea of, you know, we're so up here and it's such a hard journey to get into the body and into the heart of us to connect with that. So, and I think that's true for many of us, and it's a journey that we're all making our way down. You know?
So hopefully this helps you. We love you. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And if you enjoyed this, tag us on Instagram at The Queen of Confidence and at the Hamish Cramer. Thank you so much for listening. I freaking love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your ears and your energy and your attention. Thank you for letting me into your world. And thank you so much for listening and tuning in to this podcast. There are so many podcasts you can listen to, and I deeply, deeply, for real, appreciate you listening to mine. Do me one big favor, one big thing. Please share this episode or this podcast with a woman who you know needs to hear this. This is my mission on planet Earth, to serve as many women as possible so that we could show up, stand up, speak up, and create the confidence and the life that we desire. I appreciate you, my love. I will see you on the next episode.